vibe house. We in the vibe house. We like the vibe house.
Let's go. Yo.
Vibe house. Feeling like God. I got one foot in the sky. I'm on a whole nother vibe. Live. I think that you should subscribe. My neck is umbrella, what's his weather? My bitch is Cinderella, put weather. I'm just applying pressure, never let up. Come in the vibe house, you get wet up. Yeah, I'm in the vibe house. This is a vibe now. I'm in the vibe house. This is a vibe now. I'm in the vibe house.
Welcome to the Vibe House. Only real ones sit on this couch. Today I got a very, very special guest in the building. My 4'6" family, a 4'6" queen, a queen in general. The first woman to enter the Vibe House and do an interview.
Wow!
We got Luckie in the building.
Hi.
Tell the people how you feeling today.
I feel great. We're drinking pomegranate mimosas that I
Nice.
just put you on.
Good vibes, great vibes, good
Yes.
energy, all that.
Drinking champagne. It's a good day. It's beautiful outside. It's great.
Starting the day out right, starting
We
the
are.
day out with the vibes, for sure. So, off top, talk about upbringing.
Upbringing. Okay, well, you just referred to me as 4'6" family. So, yes, I'm from Tuskegee, Alabama. I grew up in Tuskegee. I went to St. Joseph, which is where I met Elle. Be conscious not to call you by your real name. Went to St. Joseph where I met Elle. After St. Joseph, went to Auburn High School and then the University of Alabama, then Vermont for law school, long ways away. But yeah, still go home to Tuskegee. My mom still lives in Tuskegee. I'm still there, still got friends. So yeah.
Right up. Let's toast up to Tuskegee
Let's
one time.
do
One time
that.
for the 4'6". Look at the people you producing. That's big. So, talk about the life of a lawyer.
Wow. Okay, attorney. I'm barred.
Damn.
It's okay. It's all right. It's all right.
And I was finna rephrase
It's
that.
fine.
What
It's
you got?
fine. My life. Well, specifically, I'm a criminal defense attorney, so my life tends to be a little, I wouldn't say more hectic than others, but it's a little more, the stakes are a little higher when it comes to the individuals that I represent. The life is, honestly, I can truly say with confidence that I enjoy what I do. Like, it truly makes me happy. Like, I feel like, how people say, like, they feel like they found their purpose. Like, I truly, honestly feel like I found my purpose. Like, going to work isn't, like, a drag for me, or it doesn't feel like, oh, I gotta go clock into this 9 to 5. It doesn't. It really feels like another opportunity to be fun, another opportunity to challenge myself, another opportunity to put my skills to use and, like, really make an impact on, like, an individual's life. And it's pretty good. Yeah.
That's super dope. That's super dope. I mean, talk about, having a career that, gives you that thrill to wake up and want to go do what you do.
I would say, I hate it when people say I'm blessed. Oh, when people be like, oh, I'm just blessed, it makes me roll my eyes. But, like, I don't know if there's any really other way to describe it. I don't know how many people are really able to find something that kind of, like, lights the fire inside of them the way that I did. But when I transitioned into law, because my parents wanted me to be doctors, Africans, doctors, is the thing. When I transitioned and decided that I wanted to do law, it was a conscious decision of, I want to wake up every day and want to go to work. I want to wake up every day and not feel like I'm clocking in just for a check, and, like, it doesn't feel like it gives me purpose, like, I could be miserable anywhere, I don't want to spend my life not loving what I do.
Right.
Yeah, it's hard, like, looking at whichever one.
I mean,
It's fine.
Whatever makes you comfortable.
It's fine.
So, I mean, talk about, choosing, the career path of an attorney over being a doctor, because, like we already done told the people, I know you personally, and I know you've been in labs for forever.
Like, since I was a child.
Right.
So I guess for those, maybe it's better to put some background on it. My mother is a professor at Tuskegee University. She does plant genomics and biotechnology. I have literally been in a lab from the time I was, probably by the time I could walk, I was in a lab. And my mom was like, she's a scientist. She's big into science, so that was, like, instilled in me. So naturally, it was like, okay, let's become a doctor. That's what you do. Especially when you have immigrant parents, there's like the doctor is like the thing at the top. And like it was fun, and because I was exposed to science, I was good at, you can attest to that, I was good at science, you know, I love science, I was good at it. But as I got older, especially when I got to college, I realized that it didn't make me happy. Like it made me not want to study. It made me not want to like the curiosity that I have now was like gone. Like now I read Supreme Court cases for fun. Like, you know, I listen to podcasts about the law and politics and stuff for fun. Like that's fun for me. There was nothing like that in the sciences. Like nothing. Like I wasn't like doing research for fun. I wasn't like being curious about things for fun. And what really sealed the deal for me is I used to work at DCH. I'm gonna get these letters right. I haven't worked there in years. In Tuscaloosa here. And working in a hospital made me realize I never wanted to be in a hospital ever again. Like it really just sealed it for me. And at first I was really afraid to tell my mom. Well, you know how she is. You know, she's very tough. Like she does not play around. So I was afraid to tell her, like really scared to tell her that this is what I was thinking about. So hence, I moved to China because I was like, I'm gonna go get clarity somewhere else, as far away from anyone as possible.
Whoa, we gotta stop and toast to being able to just have that option to move overseas.
I moved to China. I did. I taught English in China for a year.
That's cool. Super cool.
So yeah, I taught English in China, and while I was in China and like away from everything, like, you know, I was in a different time zone, like nobody was coming to visit me, like it really gave me the time to think about like what makes Lucky happy, what does Lucky want to do, like what wakes up and gives you purpose. And everything that I was pointing to was some form of like justice or advocacy, or it was somewhere in the law. And that's really when I started exploring like going to law school.
Wow. Talk about that experience overseas. I mean,
China was great. China was really good for me. Obviously, it wasn't my first time traveling out of the country. My family's from out of the country. My whole family's from Africa, so it wasn't my first time out of the country. But let me see how I can say this. I get high off experiences where it's like, I don't know the language, I can't read anything, and like that type of thing kind of like excites me. Like, okay, we're here, you don't speak Mandarin, you can't read the letters, how are you gonna figure it out? Like, you know, that type of new challenge like makes me so happy. So it was great for me, and like I spoke like a little bit of Mandarin at the time, but like not a lot. But in the Chinese school system, they start taking English from the time they're like in pre-K, like our equivalent of pre-K. So by the time they got to a high school level with me, they were like conversational enough to where I didn't really need to speak Mandarin. So I was speaking, like I was working on them with like spoken English, so like diction, how to pronounce things, you know, thinking through the subject-verb agreement while speaking. Like I was doing things like that. So I didn't need to like translate Mandarin to English back and forth, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So give us some pros and cons of being, you know, a woman in law, you know?
Well, that's a great question. I think the cons are easier. It is a very male-dominated field. And I wish somebody would have told me that before I applied to law school. It is a very male-dominated field, and it's an older male-dominated field. So think you're 65 and up, or 60 and up crowd. So, you know, with the age gap comes a lot of sometimes what we would see now as millennials is kind of a backwards mentality. So, you know, it's a lot of going up against those types of mentalities. Another con of being a woman in the law is, you know, sometimes when you go for job interviews, people kind of judge you if like, people kind of judge you if like, you know, are you engaged? Are you about to be married? Are you thinking about being pregnant? And like, you know, they may not say it outwardly, but that's a factor in hiring decisions, and that's kind of an adversity that women face. Another con is dressing, you know, and how we wear our hair and things like that. that tends to be more policed than it is for our male counterparts. So that is something else you kind of have to go against. Pros, I would say, you know, I feel like growing up as a woman in America, you bring a certain perspective to everything you do. And I think that is particularly important in the law. Because in the law, women have been, I'll just keep saying more police. Women have been, over time, more police than men have been. And not only can we bring like the legal side of things, but we can also bring in like, these are the implications of the actions of the law. Like these are the specific ways this has affected me throughout my life. And sometimes only someone who's lived those experiences can bring those experiences. Another pro being a woman in law. I feel like every woman in the law is like some form of a trailblazer. Like every woman has overcome some type of adversity or overcome some type of discrimination or overcome some type of obstacle to get to where they are today. And I think that speaks for a lot, especially when you're practicing law. So I feel like women have a little more fire in them.
Right.
So.
I'm sure that's motivational.
And it is motivational. Like you see another woman in the courtroom, and bonus points if it's a woman of color, and you're like, oh, okay, I can see you. All right, you know?
Cool. So, I mean, I heard you mention age gap. You you being younger in the field of, people that are a lot older.
A lot older.
What value you think you bring to the table?
I'll speak in the criminal defense space a little bit, but so I'm 28 years old. I turned 28 last Sunday. But, sometimes I can get cultural references a lot better. I feel like younger attorneys understand social media a lot more, especially with crimes like cyber crimes and stuff like that coming through the woodworks. Like we can understand things a lot more. And we understand how things work a lot more, so we tend to be a little better with technology. Not saying their older counterparts aren't. They are, some of them learn and become better with technology. But, as a younger person, you understand certain things a little bit better just because of the age and the generation that you're in. Not everything, because sometimes the kids be talking, I have no earthly idea what they're saying, but being younger at least helps a little bit.
Dope. I can definitely see that. Break down the judicial system and things that you would like to see change in the system.
Ooh, trying to get me in trouble with that one. Okay, so at least I'll speak for the criminal system in the state of Alabama. So all cases, if they are criminal, go to something called district court. So district court is like stop number one, right? District court is a court of what we call limited jurisdiction. That is a fancy way of saying that district court can only do so much. So, you can take like felony pleas. That means like you're pleading guilty to a crime. You can do like misdemeanor pleas. You can do misdemeanor bench trials, something that we call preliminary hearings, which are probable cause hearings. I am missing some other things you can do in district court, like probation revocation hearings and things like in that realm. I'm missing a couple. There's a couple more things you can do in district court that I'm missing. But district court only has like a set number of things they can do. 9 times out of 10, the thing that your clients come up to you and talk to you about is something we like to call circuit court issues. And in circuit court, that's where, like, for example, you can raise search issues or stop issues and stuff like that in the criminal sense. Like, you can file motions to suppress, you can file motions to dismiss. Like, there's a broader range of practice in circuit court. So when most people think about criminal court in the state of Alabama, what they're actually thinking about is circuit court. But that's not where your case starts. So you start down here in district court. In order to get to circuit court, you'd have to waive what we call waive your case to the grand jury. The proper name is like, it's a motion for waiver for preliminary hearing, but like no one cares about that. You have to waive your case to the grand jury. And when it goes to grand jury, you get something called a formal, like you get an indictment. Indictment's not evidence, but it's a piece of paper that informs you of the charges against you. In order to get an indictment, the prosecutor every so often meets with the grand jury and tells the grand jury like the facts of the case or any witnesses they have. They bring it to the grand jury, and the grand jury in turn returns a formal indictment. So you start at district court, you're like, we'll take for example like you have a search issue, you believe, or your attorney believes like, oh, that search was BS. okay, you're in district court. I can't raise a search issue down here. So it's like, okay, in this example, I need to take your case to circuit court so I can wait, so we can bring up the search issue. So it's like, if I'm in district court, I need to waive it to the grand jury. While it's in grand jury, the grand jury will return a formal indictment, which is basically like a pretty piece of paper that charges you with a crime. And then after that, your case, when it comes off grand jury, goes to circuit court. And then in circuit court, you can raise the issues. That timeline between district court and circuit court, that depends on where you are. But at least in my county, you're looking at upwards of 8 months to 2 years. So, yeah.
Okay. And what's some things you would like to see change? If any. If it's nothing, then...
There's so many things I would like to see change.
I know that's a hard one.
Oh, there's so many. But I think the things that I would like to see change start more at the political system than it does the criminal. I mean, it's in the criminal justice system, but, you know, I would love to see some laws change. I would love... mainly to see laws change. I would love to see bail change or bonds change. Like, I would love to see that change. You know, I don't believe an accused person should be sitting in jail just because they can't, you know, make a bond amount or something like that. You know, I don't think that's fair, especially in our criminal justice system. You are presumed innocent until you either plead guilty or are proven guilty. Right. So it just kind of doesn't seem fair that it's like, if you had money, you'd be out right now. But since you don't have money, you know, you're stuck in jail, you know? And it might be something that you really didn't do, you know? And I don't think that's necessarily fair. And some of the laws, I think...